my role at ToughTech is Commercial Director. Essentially, I'm responsible for sales within the UK and Ireland, and I support Gary in the field looking after European and North African customers as well. I'm responsible for our social media presence, the website, price lists, and anything else. I don't sweep the floors, I leave that to Barry. So there is there's not a funny side to me. I do things at 100 miles an hour, as most of my friends and my work colleagues will tell you. One of the things I don't do at 100 miles an hour though is walk, but I do walk an awful lot, and I attempt to do ultra marathons. I walked a couple of marathons last year, and this year I set out to walk 100k over a 24-hour period. Unfortunately, I managed to face plant after 27k, which included breaking my nose, but I will be going back and doing it next year. But I like walking. The other thing I really like doing is creating. I make my own clothes as a rule. My other half will complain about the size of my wardrobe, but I tell him it's okay. I made it. It was a heck of a lot cheaper than if I was to go out and buy the stuff. So I like making. I like painting. I don't sit still. It does my family's head in, because I don't let them sit still either. But I believe in working hard and playing hard, and enjoying myself. And I think that it's really important that you do enjoy yourself. Mine's creating and walking, and I've got 2 dogs who I keep very fit and very thin because they walk a heck of a lot with me as well. So that's me. Joined the business in December 2018. I spent 25 years of my career working in the pub industry beforehand. A lot of that, however, was in the M2M side of the beer industry. I worked with a company called Vianet with a product called Brewlines, where we were measuring 25,000 pubs in the UK of every single pint of beer that was dispensed through those pubs. And that's where I met Barry Lowe, who's the co-founder of ToughTech. My experience of working with Barry was not just the pub industry, but we also worked in the coffee market together as well. And Barry had taken the idea of connecting to a coffee machine through Coffee Nation, which latterly became Costa. And he took that idea of connecting to a coffee machine and taking that information and rendering it on a website to provide the machine manufacturers or the coffee companies with data about their machines. What we were unable to do there was to detect any faults with the machine, so that the engineers were on their route to that coffee machine before the person even knew that it was a problem. And I think it was at that point in time that I discovered that M2M and connected technologies gave people information they just would never have had before. And it enabled Coffee Nation and other coffee machine manufacturers to really do something with their data. So when Barry invited me to join them at ToughTech and said, well, instead of coffee or beer, you're now going to be dealing with haulage, vans, off-road machines with tyres that are bigger than I was like, whoa, okay, here we go. And that started a learning curve, which has been absolutely vertical. But the principle of taking something that's connected, rendering the data on the internet so that customers can use that data, it doesn't matter whether it's beer, whether it's coffee, or whether it's tyres. That connectivity and that ability to act on the information has seen me through from the transition from beer into tyres. Being responsible for sales means that I have to get out there and meet people. When I meet a new potential customer, one of the first things that I try and identify is what issues they actually have. And understanding the issues that they have enables us to pull together a return on investment model for them. Some of my customers, their biggest concern is the amount of fuel that they're using, and with customers spending millions of pounds on fuel every year, just a 1 or 2% saving makes a massive difference to the bottom line for them. Some of my customers' issues are going to be around their tyre life. I've had people who can literally consume 20 tyres a week on their fleet. And that's a real pain point for them when a tyre is anything from 250 to 400 pounds a time. And therefore their pain point is looking at reducing the numbers of tyres that they go through. My other customers might have a pain point which is tyre related issues, which means that they can't run their operation correctly. For example, if you're in a quarry and one of the tippers has a puncture, for example, that tipper then can't fulfil its duty of going to the quarry face and taking away the aggregates from that quarry face, which makes the quarry, for that period of time while that machine is down, it means it's not operating properly. So I work with my customers to understand what their issues are, and it's those issues which then enable us to pull together a return on investment model for them. Depending on what their issues are, depends on what that return on investment might look like. I've done some return on investments where it's 9 months, and I have others where it might be closer to 20 months. But the bottom line is that I work with them to understand what the pain is, what the cost of that pain is, and then work with them to pull together a case to make them realise that actually by managing their tyres, utilising the Atlas system means that they make and they save money, and that's the bottom line. So having sat down and spoken to a potential customer about what their return on investment look like, we then move to a trial process. Now what a trial means is that we can trial the system in the particular machines that they have. We connect to hundreds of machines, but we generally find that when you're working in quarries, they're all the same type of machines. And very often when you're dealing with a customer, it might be something that's new and unique. I don't leave my customers with the piece of kit and an instruction manual and say, here you go. I go out, I get my hands dirty. Actually, I get my hands dirty, I get my clothes dirty, my hair dirty, because I get underneath the vehicles and I work with them to install the system and show them how easy it is to install. For example, I can install a system in 45 minutes with the help of my customers. I won't do the auto electrics, I'm not qualified to do that. So I work with my customers and their auto electricians to install the system. And as part of that installation, we'll make sure that all of those pressures are correct. Sometimes that means having the tyre service provider on hand to fill the tyres up to the correct pressures, so that the customer knows when I walk away from site that that system's installed, it's working, the data's going up into the internet, and those tyre pressures are correct. Which means when they get a text message or an email alert to say they've got a problem, they know they've got a genuine problem, because we left that installation absolutely spot on.